Hello and welcome to your ultimate guide for the C202 OA, Managing Human Capital course. My goal today is simple: give you everything you need to fully understand the key concepts, master them, and walk into your C202 OA exam with total confidence. In this video, we'll cover strategic HRM, core framework, performance management, strategy alignment, and global and ethical issues. And remember, our website offers free exam guides and practice questions to help you ace your C202 OA exam. You'll find the link in the description below, so be sure to check it out and get the resources you need to study smarter, not harder. So let's dive right in. Let's start at the very beginning and build a solid foundation. What is strategic human resource management? And why is it profoundly different from the old-school personnel department you might see in old movies? In the simplest terms, human resource management, or HRM, is the organizational function responsible for attracting, hiring, developing, rewarding, and retaining talent. But the magic, the word that changes everything, is strategic. Strategic HRM isn't just about processing paperwork. It's about making every single one of those people-related decisions in a way that gives your company a tangible, lasting competitive advantage. It's built on the core belief that in the modern economy, your people are your most important asset. To really grasp this, let's look at the history. The very first HR departments, born around 1901 at places like the National Cash Register Company, were purely administrative. They were called personnel, and their job was to handle legal compliance, keep records, process payroll, and manage employee grievances. They were seen as a cost center, a necessary but unexciting part of the business. After World War II, their role grew to include improving efficiency and managing more of the hiring and training process. But the real revolution has happened in the last 30 or 40 years. With the rise of technology and cloud-based systems, many of those routine transactional tasks have been automated or outsourced. This has liberated HR from its administrative chains and allowed it to become what it always should have been: a true strategic partner at the executive table. Today's HR leaders are shaping culture, managing mergers, driving change, and ensuring that the company's talent is perfectly aligned with its most critical business goals. So how do people, not patents or property, create a competitive advantage? A competitive advantage is anything a company does differently and better than its competitors that allows it to outperform them. This could be being the cheapest, being the most innovative, or offering the best service. But these advantages don't just appear. It's always the people who create them. Think about it this way. Southwest Airlines has a competitive advantage based on low costs and operational efficiency. This is only possible because their HRM system excels at hiring positive, hard-working people, creating a fun culture that motivates them to work efficiently, and using profit sharing to make every employee an owner in the company's success. Contrast that with a luxury brand like Tiffany & Co. Their advantage is based on brand prestige and an exceptional customer experience. Their HRM system must be completely different. It has to focus on hiring sophisticated, polished salespeople, providing extensive training in product knowledge and luxury service etiquette, and rewarding behaviors that build long-term client relationships, not just quick sales. The strategy is different, so the HR system must be different. This brings us to a fantastic real-world example. Patagonia. Patagonia's mission is build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm. Their competitive advantage comes from their authentic brand and deep loyalty from customers who share their values. How does their HR system build this advantage? First, they hire for mission fit. The very first interview question is, what drew you here? They want people who are genuinely passionate about the environment. Second, their benefits reinforce the mission. They offer paid leave for employees to volunteer with environmental groups. They will even pay bail for employees arrested during peaceful environmental protests. This isn't just a quirky perk. It's a strategic tool. It ensures they have employees who live and breathe the brand, which translates into authentic products and credible marketing. It creates a culture so strong that turnover is a mere 4%. Patagonia's HR is not an administrative function. It is the engine of its brand and its competitive advantage. On your OA exam, you are guaranteed to get questions that test this strategic connection. They will give you a scenario and ask you to explain how a company's hiring or compensation practices are either supporting or undermining its business strategy. A huge mistake is to talk about HR activities in a vacuum. To avoid this, I want you to burn this into your mind. Don't think HRM, think human results management. Every HR action must be tied to a business result. Always ask why. Why does this company hire this way? Why does it pay this way? The answer should always trace back to helping the company win. Before we dive into our next big concept, I want to make sure you know about a resource that will be your best friend as you prepare. I have put together a bank of over 300 completely free practice questions that are designed specifically for this course and align perfectly with what we're discussing. You can find the link in the description. I highly recommend you open it now and bookmark it. Actively using those questions after we cover each topic will be the key to making this knowledge stick. Now, let's learn the single most powerful tool you will use in this course. I call it the master key for analyzing any HR situation. It's a simple but profound framework that explains how HRM actually influences organizational performance. It all comes down to 3 levers of influence. Strategic HRM works by influencing what employees should do, what employees can do, and what employees will do. When these 3 things are perfectly aligned, a company becomes unstoppable. Let's break each one down in detail. First, let's tackle what employees should do. This is all about direction, clarity, and setting the rules of the game. If your employees don't have clear direction, they might be incredibly talented and motivated, but their efforts will be scattered and wasted. This direction comes from 2 primary sources: human resource planning and legal compliance. HR planning is far more than just counting the number of employees you need. It's a strategic forecasting process. Imagine a bank decides its new business strategy is to become a leader in financial technology, or fintech. The HR planning process would kick in immediately. The HR team would analyze that strategy and determine that in 3 years, they will need 50 software developers with expertise in blockchain and artificial intelligence. They don't have these skills now, so the plan would outline a strategy to acquire this talent. Maybe they'll start recruiting at specific universities known for their computer science programs. Maybe they'll create a training program to upskill their current IT staff, or maybe they'll plan to acquire a small fintech startup. This is HR planning. Figuring out what talent the business should have to win in the future. Legal compliance also tells employees what they should do by setting legal and ethical boundaries. For example, anti-discrimination laws tell a manager that they should consider all qualified applicants for a job regardless of race, gender, or religion. This provides a clear, non-negotiable direction for their hiring behavior. Next, let's move to the second lever: what employees can do. This is all about capability. You can point your team in the right direction, but they need the raw ability and the developed skills to actually make the journey. This lever is controlled by 2 of the most well-known HR functions: staffing and training and development. Staffing is a 2-part process: recruiting and selection. Recruiting is about creating a large, diverse pool of qualified applicants. Selection is about choosing the best person from that pool. Let's say a high-end restaurant wants to deliver an incredible dining experience. Their recruiting efforts might involve posting jobs in culinary schools, and fine dining forums to attract people passionate about food. Then their selection process won't just be an interview, it might include a practical tasting test or situational questions like, a customer says their steak is overcooked, but you checked it and it's perfect. What do you do? They are selecting for people who can deliver exceptional service under pressure.
Training and development then builds on that raw talent.
It's important to distinguish them. Training is typically focused on the skills needed for an employee's current job. Development is about preparing them for future roles. A new bank teller receives training on how to use the bank's software and follow cash handling procedures. That same teller, if identified as having high potential, might be put into a development program that includes mentorship from a branch manager and courses on leadership, preparing her to one day run a branch herself. Staffing gets the right capabilities in the door, training and development grows them over time. Finally, we have the third and arguably most complex lever: what employees will do. This is the realm of motivation. You can have a team of brilliant people who know exactly what they're supposed to do, but if they are not motivated, if they don't have the will to perform, you get the bare minimum. This lever is primarily controlled by performance management and compensation. Performance management is the process of setting clear goals and providing regular feedback. Compensation is about rewarding the achievement of those goals. Here's where alignment becomes critical. Imagine a company says its goal is to produce the highest quality, defect-free widgets. They hire skilled artisans to make them. But the compensation system gives a large bonus to the employee who produces the most widgets each month, regardless of quality. What will happen? Employees, driven by the reward system, will rush their work, quality will plummet, and the company's goal will fail. The will is completely misaligned with the should. The entire reward system, which includes not just pay but also praise, recognition, promotions, and interesting assignments, must be designed to motivate the exact behaviors the strategy requires. The true power, and the source of many exam questions, lies in understanding how these three levers must be perfectly aligned. Misalignment is the root cause of most organizational dysfunction. Think of a hospital whose strategic goal is to provide the most compassionate patient care in the city. That's the should. They go out and hire nurses who are known for their empathy and excellent clinical skills. That's the can. But, due to budget cuts, they are severely understaffed, and the performance management system tracks how many patients each nurse sees per hour. That's the will. The system is pushing for speed and volume. The result is predictable. The caring nurses become burned out. They can't provide the compassionate care they want to. They quit, and patient satisfaction plummets. The system is broken because the levers are fighting each other. To remember this vital framework, use the mnemonic S, C, W. To be a successful company worldwide, you must align what your employees should, can, and will do. This framework is your key to unlocking almost any case study on the OA. The should, can, will framework is a perfect example of the kind of conceptual thinking you'll need for the exam, and it's heavily featured in our free practice question bank. The questions there won't just ask you to define the terms, they'll give you a scenario, just like the hospital example, and ask you to diagnose the misalignment. Now, let's zoom in and do a very deep dive on one of the most important parts of that what employees will do lever: performance management. Please erase from your mind the image of a dusty form being filled out once a year in a tense, awkward meeting. That is the old way. Modern, strategic performance management is a dynamic, continuous cycle designed to improve performance, develop employees, and drive business strategy. It's the primary way managers translate big-picture company goals into the daily work of their teams. The case study on IBM in your materials is a perfect illustration. They ditched their old,
rigid annual review for a mobile app called Checkpoint that allows for continuous, real-time feedback. This is the future. The modern performance management process can be broken down into a few key steps that form a continuous loop. It starts with goal setting. This is where the manager and employee work together to set clear, measurable objectives for the year. Crucially, these goals must be aligned with the company's strategy. This creates a line of sight, where the employee can see exactly how their individual work contributes to the company's success. For example, if a company's strategic objective is to increase customer retention by 10%, a customer service manager's goal might be to reduce customer complaint resolution time by 15%. The second step is continuous feedback and coaching. This is the biggest change from the old model. Instead of saving everything for one big meeting, effective managers provide feedback in the moment. They have regular check-ins to discuss progress, remove obstacles, and offer guidance. This is coaching, not judging. The third step is the formal appraisal. Yes, there is still often a formal meeting, perhaps once or twice a year, but it's different. Because of the continuous feedback, there should be no surprises. This meeting is a chance to summarize the year's performance, look at the big picture, and have a rich discussion about career development. The final step is linking performance to consequences. This means making decisions about rewards, promotions, and development plans based on the performance evaluation. High performers are rewarded and given opportunities to grow. Low performers are put on a development plan or, if necessary, managed out of the organization. The system must have integrity and be perceived as fair. The power of feedback cannot be overstated. Let's look at a concrete example of good versus bad feedback. Bad feedback is vague and judgmental, like, you need to have a better attitude. The employee has no idea what to do with that. Good feedback is specific and behavioral. For instance, in the team meeting this morning, I noticed you sighed and rolled your eyes when the marketing team presented their data. To contribute to a more positive team dynamic, I need you to focus on listening actively and asking constructive questions, even when you disagree. See the difference? One is an attack on personality, the other is a coachable observation about behavior. Your OA exam will almost certainly ask you to analyze or design a performance management system. You might get a scenario, like the Wells Fargo scandal, where you'd need to identify that the system's fatal flaw was its intense focus on a single metric, new accounts, without any ethical safeguards or a holistic view of performance. The pressure was so high, it incentivized cheating. Meta pause. To ace these questions, you need to think like a consultant. Propose specific improvements. Implement continuous feedback, ensure goals are balanced and not just focused on one number, and train managers on how to give effective behavioral feedback. A great way to remember the goal of modern performance management is that it's not about a report card on the past, it's a GPS for the future, constantly recalculating and providing guidance to help the employee reach their destination. I know this is a lot of information, and applying it is the key. That is exactly why I built that bank of over 300 free practice questions. It has numerous scenarios that will challenge you to apply these performance management principles, helping to solidify your understanding for the exam. Now, let's ascend to the highest peak of strategic thinking in this course. We're going to talk about aligning the entire human resource strategy with the company's overall business strategy. This is the ultimate goal. It means that every single thing HR does, every policy, every program, every decision is intentionally designed to help the business win its specific game in the marketplace. To master this, we have to be crystal clear on what a business strategy is. A simple way to think about it is that companies generally choose to compete in one of three ways. Cost leadership, meaning they aim to be the lowest cost producer. Differentiation, meaning they aim to be unique and innovative. Or customer intimacy, meaning they aim to provide the absolute best service and build deep customer relationships. A company's HR strategy must be custom-built to support its chosen business strategy. Let's break this down with examples. A company pursuing cost leadership, like Walmart, needs an HR system focused on efficiency. They will design simple, standardized jobs that are easy to learn. Their recruiting will be high volume and focused on finding reliable, hard-working people. Their compensation will be carefully controlled, but they might offer bonuses for employees who come up with cost-saving ideas. Now contrast that with a company pursuing differentiation, like Tesla. Their goal is innovation. Their HR system must be completely different. They need to hire the most creative, brilliant, and often unconventional engineers. Their culture must tolerate risk and a certain amount of failure as part of the innovative process. Their compensation will likely include significant stock options to tie employees' fortunes to the long-term success of the company's big bets. Finally, consider a company focused on customer intimacy, like the Ritz-Carlton hotel chain. Their HR system is legendary. They hire for personality traits like empathy and a desire to serve. They provide hundreds of hours of customer service training. And most famously, they empower every single employee, from a housekeeper to a general manager, to spend up to $2,000 to solve a guest's problem on the spot. No questions asked. This HR practice directly supports their business strategy of providing unparalleled service. This alignment is guided by something your text calls a company's talent philosophy, which is its fundamental set of beliefs about its people. Is your philosophy that employees are partners, or that they are simply costs to be managed? Do you believe in lifetime employment, or do you encourage churn to bring in fresh ideas? A company's actions, driven by its HR strategy, reveal its true talent philosophy. You can't say, "Our people are our greatest asset," and then pay them below market wages and offer no training. The two must be aligned. Think of it like a championship rowing team. The business strategy is the finish line. The HR strategy is the job of the coxswain, calling out the rhythm and making sure every single rower is pulling their oar in perfect, powerful synchronization to drive the boat forward. If these complex alignment scenarios feel challenging, that's a good sign. It means you're thinking at the right level. The best way to get comfortable with them is to practice. The free question bank I've mentioned has detailed case studies that will let you work through these exact types of problems until they become second nature. Let's bring our focus now to a group of essential real-world factors that every HR professional must master: how to manage human resources in a global context, how to operate with unwavering ethics, and how to structure the HR function for maximum efficiency and impact. The world is interconnected, and a one-size-fits-all approach to HR is doomed to fail. First, let's explore global HRM. As companies expand internationally, they discover that cultural norms profoundly impact the effectiveness of HR practices. One key cultural dimension is power distance, which is the degree to which a society accepts an unequal distribution of power. In a low-power distance country like Denmark or Israel, an employee would feel perfectly comfortable questioning their manager's decision in a team meeting. In a high-power distance country like Japan or India, that same action could be seen as deeply disrespectful. Therefore, a 360-degree feedback system, where subordinates review their bosses, might be very successful in Denmark, but would need to be implemented very carefully, if at all, in Japan. Another dimension is individualism versus collectivism. In a highly individualistic culture like the United States, it's common to celebrate the salesperson of the month and give them a big bonus. In a highly collectivist culture like South Korea, singling out one person could cause them embarrassment and disrupt team harmony. A more effective approach there would be to reward the entire team for its collective success. Next, let's talk about ethics. This is non-negotiable. The Society for Human Resource Management, or SHRM, provides a code of ethics that acts as a guiding star. The core principle is that HR has a dual responsibility: to add value to the organization, but also to ensure its ethical success. This means HR must be the company's conscience. Let's imagine a scenario. An HR manager learns that a top-performing sales director is verbally harassing junior team members. The sales director brings in millions in revenue. What does the HR manager do? The ethical path is clear. They must investigate the claims thoroughly and confidentially. They must advocate for the fair treatment of the employees being harassed. They must advise senior leadership that the short-term revenue is not worth the long-term damage to culture, morale, and legal risk. This can be an incredibly difficult position, but it is the core of professional responsibility. Finally, let's look at how the HR function itself is structured in modern large organizations. It's rarely just one department. Often, a blended model is used to be both efficient and effective. Many companies create shared service centers, which are centralized internal hubs that handle all the routine, high-volume transactional work, like payroll processing or benefits enrollment. This standardizes the process and saves money. For highly specialized tasks, they may use outsourcing. A great way to remember these three crucial elements is the acronym GES. A world-class HR function must be globally minded, ethically grounded, and structured for success. As we near the end of our video, remember that understanding these concepts is the first, most important step. But true mastery comes from applying them. Those 300+ free practice questions I keep mentioning are your personal training ground. They are designed to take these concepts off the page and put them into practice, which is exactly what your OA exam will require. Okay, let's take a final moment to zoom out and see the beautiful integrated system we have built together. This is the big picture. We started by establishing that strategic HRM is not a support function, but a core driver of competitive advantage. It's how companies win through their people. The master key to understanding this is the should, can, will framework. It's your diagnostic tool for analyzing any organizational challenge. It forces you to ask, are we providing clear direction? Do our people have the right capabilities? And is our system motivating the will to perform? We saw how a modern performance management system built on a continuous cycle of goal setting, coaching, and fair evaluation is the beating heart of the will lever. But we also learned that none of these functions can succeed in isolation. The pinnacle of strategic thinking is alignment, ensuring the entire HR system, as a single integrated machine, is custom-built to support the company's specific business strategy, whether that's cost leadership, innovation, or customer intimacy. And finally, we layered on the essential real-world complexities of operating in a global context with an unwavering ethical compass, and with a smart, efficient structure. All of these pieces connect. A global company's performance management system must be aligned with its differentiation strategy, adapted for different cultures, administered ethically, and delivered through a mix of internal experts and shared services. It all works together. So, as you prepare for your exam, I want you to walk in with a new kind of confidence. You're not just going to be trying to recall definitions. You are going to be an analyst. You are going to read a case study and immediately start applying these frameworks. You'll be spotting the misalignments, diagnosing the should, can, will breakdowns, and thinking like a strategic consultant. This knowledge will not only help you ace your exam, but it will make you a more effective manager and leader in any career you choose. You have done the hard work of engaging with this material. The knowledge is now in your head. The final, crucial step is to activate it through practice. Please, use the link in the description and dive into those free practice questions. Work through them, read the explanations, cement your understanding. With the deep knowledge you've gained today, combined with dedicated practice, you are not just prepared. You are ready to demonstrate your mastery. You've got this. Now go and show them what you know. Good luck.